Okay, so data creation, that's the topic that we're doing today, the value of creating proper product data, a key to sales success. So basically these days, I mean, the increase of clients needing visual, this is basically what it has come to be. The product data, her proper data is been a key subject, and especially be updated in the catalog. It's not only creating the catalog and the data with all that it implies, but also keeping update. It's really a challenge. I think every manufacturer knows that, especially as you say, when there are so many changes in pricing even, and products and new products, and it's really and also with so many different platforms that we have to be in it in all of them. So we're going to overview all those aspects in this webinar today. Basically, why it's so important to have the data properly created, to have the right options, and just making sure that it's something that you can do it efficiently and you won't absorb the whole time of your company. So let's continue here. Complete product data. So we talk about product data. Okay, what is to have all the complete product data? So there are different legs to this table. For instance, we have the description of the product, which is going to be what dimensions, what the product is, why it is for. Is something that we call it the product description, and it could be depending on the on the manufacturer's choice, what they wanna, how they wanna describe the product. That's basically will be one leg, and then we have the 2D and 3D graphics, which we call it the models of the items. And sometimes it comes to, I mean, the 2D and 3D are necessary for renderings, for many different visual stuff, but in order, it's only one leg of the complete product data, because those graphics, if we don't have the mapping and the layering of the models right, and those be assigned to the right swatches and finishes, they're not it won't show the product as it is, and also it won't work on the platforms when we want to publish them in different platforms like Configura, Syncly, the Kids Collaborator. I'm bringing those names. We will go through. You're probably familiar with those already, but we're gonna go to overview at least those platforms. And also, of course, once we have all the information about the product, the finishes, swatches, and then that basically links to the pricing, right? The pricing, what we're going to sell, not only the item, the product itself, but also depending on the options that we pick, that will also change the final price. So the whole thing will create the pricing, and that's basically in overall is the complete product data. It's not only the models, it's not only the product description or the options, it's the whole thing and put together in a format that can be used on a design and sales platform, and many other ways as well. So and again, let's continue here. Why it's important to create product data, why it's so important these days. First, because of the accuracy and updates, builds trust and ensuring all styles, finishes, and pricing, that all the pricings are updated. And this is the key thing. I mean, these days, you have to make sure that your products are easy to sell, basically, or easy to offer. First, before your product gets into the final or the final user, you have to sell it to the dealer, because the dealer will have 30 different manufacturers to choose from. And one of the things, they will choose a product, but also they will choose a product that is easy to specify, the product that they will find all the information in the platforms they use. So you have to be in the platforms they use mainly. First thing, that will be CET, that will be CIL, which is a Commercial Interiors Library, which used to be Project Matrix. Also Syncly, which used to be 2020. Now we have a new 2023 has make all the changes on naming different software products. So Syncly, also the KiSP Collaborator, which is the sales tool that is our sales tool that is used for salespeople to sell, because before the project goes to designers, they have to go through the salesperson. So it's important that your products are available in all these software platforms, and they are available in a way that, okay, the designer or the salesperson can get the information, they can get all the options, they can get to the final user or the final client or the user, and then they can get it with all the answers without spending 1 or 2 days getting or gathering extra information. Sometimes it happens if the information is not available right there in the software platforms, in any of those platforms or the manufacturer even website. They will have to call the rep, and that might take, the rep might not be available then, and then they will have to call back, and that will lead to a delay of maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, and that then can hurt the sale because of that time, even if it's not too long. Anyway, so it's important to make it easy for dealers, partners to showcase your products and get to solve faster. A streamlined process, leverage existing product data, and save time and resources in the long run. Might be a huge investment, or it seems a huge investment to keep your data updated, but at the end, it makes a lot of savings, and it will position your company higher. Okay, so please feel free to stop at any time. Any questions? We're going to be doing a questions and answers at the end, but feel free to stop at any time to make any questions. You can send it on the chatter. And also Madison and Alison, if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to jump in. And also Robin too, of course. Okay, key steps to getting started. Well, first, if you have to assess your needs, evaluate how complex your products are, and determine the level of details required. That's basically when you are doing a catalog from zero, if you don't have any product data built already, or if you're looking into adding new products, because maybe you will be adding a new product line, and that might be different the way you have to specify it from other existing products that you have. So make sure, because this is important. I think we were talking before with Alison about this. It's important when you're starting to create the data from one product, just to make sure that you have the right way to specify it, because that will make a huge change, saving time, and also the user experience that can make a huge change. Also clarify ownership. Whenever you build the data, make sure you own the data as a manufacturer, because then it will give you control over that. I mean, some platforms or some companies, they will create the data for you, but then you won't be able to extract it back. So it's important that you own control, and then you are able to distribute it to all the companies and platforms that you need to, or you want to, and make sure to have a flexible also way, because I mean, if you own it, you can decide who to share it with anytime. That's the main idea. Also identify channels. Where do you want your data to be used? Identify touch points for your data. That will be, of course, the way of how you sell your products, and then how it's going to be the different ways to sell it. And mainly determine tools. I think that's basically something that is key, and make sure that you try to be on all the tools that as you can. We have Configure as CET is very strong. A lot of dealers are using it, are adopting it, and it's a great tool. And also Syncly, it used to be 2020, also is a very strong tool. And Syncly, a lot of dealers still use Syncly, and they're going to continue using it. So if you can, I mean, just try to be present in both platforms. And the same with, well, the KiSP Collaborator also. KiSP is our sales tool, and basically mainly KiSP Collaborator. The difference with Configure, CET, and Syncly is that the KiSP Collaborator is a sales tool, and is built for salespeople. It's very user-friendly. You know, you can use it on an iPad, on a Surface Pro. It's not built for designers. It's actually built to be used in front of the client. So it will be like a different tool, but it's also a tool that is for salespeople. It makes a huge change, and it's a way to accelerate the sales process. So make sure if you haven't checked it out, check KiSP, because it's really being very useful for dealers and reps as well. Okay, so having said that, all that introduction about data, of course, one of the main purposes of this webinar is to introduce Entity. What is Entity? Entity is the simplest way to create and manage high quality product data. It's a platform, it's a web-based platform that KiSP, our company, has developed. It's easily repurposed. Basically, once you create your data, you create it once, and you can export it into all the different designs and sales tools of the industry. The ones I mentioned before is CET, CIL, which is CIL is, yes, Customer Interiors Library, sorry. And then CET and of course Syncly and the Kit Collaborator, My Resource Library also. You can share your data with the My Resource Library and many other platforms. Also, one of the things that, and also I get Madison and Alison to back this up, Entity is free to use and free to maintain. Basically, there is different ways you can work with us, but if you can self-serve, if you can use it yourself, then it's free of charge. Even if you get our team to use it, basically what we will charge in you is for the labor, for the person that is actually creating the data, but you won't be paying absolutely anything for the platform. And then one of the main things is the manufacturer will keep the ownership of the data. So they decide if whenever they want to export it, they can export it to all the platforms they want. I mean, we don't compete with CET, we configure it with Syncly. We believe that the data has to be shared with all the tools in the industry, and that's why we want to keep it that way. We already have a lot of companies that are using it, and we can give you a lot of reference on who is using and how they use it. That's why basically we really appreciate Madison and Alison here, because they will be sharing, you know, what is their experience with our tool. Okay, and how we work before we jump into the more fun stuff that we will see Entity in action by Robin. How we work? Well, first the idea is just to have an initial chat, and basically to assess and to see what is your current status, whether you already have catalogs created, that means product data created. If you have nothing at all, if you have the models but you don't have the rest. Anyway, the idea is just to see, okay, what is the present in terms of product data, and then recommend the best course of action. If you already have a product data, if you already have your catalogs, it doesn't mean that you have to create it from scratch. Entity can import your existing data, so you can continue working, updating and everything, and even improving your data through Entity. And that's basically when the process starts. And then you can actually review your product library very easily, because we have an audit function that is great, because you can actually see the product, you can see the different layers, all the options. You can actually view it the same way. It's not like you will see numbers like a coding stuff. No, here is because the visual of the product, and then all the different options that you indicated on that particular product. And then make edits, any changes. So, and again, if you want to improve the data, the way that you have your data, then you can also do it through Entity, and well, make price updates, finishes update, new products. And that's the beauty about this tool. I mean, even you do it in-house, or you have our team to do it. Maybe you have our team do it to create all the catalogs, but make edits, you can actually do it yourself. You can jump into Entity, or have somebody in your company to be in charge of that, and make sure that all those like changing pricing, finishes, you can do it yourself. So you can have a mix. You can have you can manage and create your data 100% on your own. You can have our team to help you building it and to make adjustments, anything that you want, you tell us to do. And then you can have both. You can have our team doing some of the stuff and some of the stuff, whatever you don't want to do, we can do it. And then you can keep some of the task just to do it internally. And then just use the product library and spread it in all the sources that that you want. Could be, well, of course, CT, 2020, CIL, and then the Kids Collaborator, of course, My Resource Library. The idea is that, you know, we encourage to share them and to spread your catalogs to all the existing platforms in the market. Okay, so let's go to the demo presentation. So we're gonna, I'm gonna hand it the control to Robin now. Robin Olivas, he's basically the expert in Entity. So he's gonna be showing you how the tool works.
Perfect. So first of all, hey everybody, nice to meet you. And second, can you show me how to share my screen on this this app?
Of course, there is a screen when, I don't know if you got the panel, the control panel there, and see if I can give you.
Yeah, it says the presenter has control.
Okay, sorry, Don, I have to give you control then. Just give me a second.
There we go. Anyways, this is a good starter to break the ice, am I right?
Yes, it's actually, yeah, the first, usually we do it through a different platform and make presenter. Okay.
Okay, there we go. Let's see. Can everybody see my screen right now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. So let me minimize this. Okay, so this is the magical tool that Laura has been chatting about like these couple of minutes ago. So as you can see, it's a web-based tool, right? That's pretty helpful. So you could go on to one of your Windows 7 and it'll work fine. Like as long as you got internet, you could access it. So no worries there. So basically how it starts is that all you would have to do is just you type in this link. Of course, this can be further shown and shared when we start discussing future works and stuff. But basically you just type in the website, you write down your credentials, you sign in, and then the first thing you're gonna see is gonna be the catalogs tab. So as you can see here, you may see all the different types of tabs. Don't worry, don't be overwhelmed. It's pretty user-friendly as you're gonna see. But since I don't want to bore any of you guys, we're gonna have a quick overview of it, and then afterwards, if you guys want to see a little bit more in depth, then you could either shoot us an email, give us a call, or we could have a quick Q&A afterwards, like Laura mentioned. So what am I gonna show? I'm gonna show you guys basically where you can view your catalogs, how you're going to see the list of products, where you're going to be able to use the auditing, in which you're going to be able to test in real life time how the product works, how the structure reacts, and how the finishes are being applied. And then afterwards, what is the magical way we use to make sure that your data is ready to go and be published on the other platforms. So let's start off with the catalogs part of it. So right here, as you can see, you can have an X number of catalogs. Obviously, so far nobody has gone to that extreme yet of having like around 100,000 or so. So yeah, so far you can have as many catalogs as you want, and each one of them you're gonna be able to modify either the pricing, the descriptions, what available product lines are gonna be inside of it. And if you go into the table of contents, this is basically how you're gonna structure your catalog to look. As Laura mentioned earlier, it's pretty important to know how you want to structure it because it not only helps you guys to navigate a bit more about your products and find it easily, it helps the end user as well. So sometimes you have a structure created on the website and you say, I mean, that is a good way to structure the catalog. So this is where you're going to be able to handle it in that sense. In other words, you put on your own limitations. The structure is entirely up to you. You decide how to create your data in that sense. Obviously, we can give you some guidelines, help, but at the end of the day, you guys are complete owners of it. If you guys want to keep everything in a folder, that's possible. If you guys want to have it divided into many, that's also possible. So that's basically at least the first part of it. Next, we'll go over to the products. Basically, here's where you're going to be able to see all the existing products that are inside of your database, all right? Not only that, for example, for it to not be overwhelming, a feature was implemented in which you're going to be able to see what catalogs these products belong to. So let's say, for example, when it comes to working with a great number of them, right? There's no need to scroll or anything. You could just see right here in the tab where it says catalog, right? And you're gonna be able to see, okay, I know that this product is in this catalog, that one, that one. And if you want to manage it, you're gonna have a quick access down here where it says marketing. This is where you're gonna be able to manage pretty quickly what products you want where. But other than that, it's pretty basic stuff. Right here, we have the descriptions, right? You could have the product one being something a bit standard, and the marketing one, let's say the charm or what is going to be the selling point of the product, right? Then you're going to be able to adjust an X number of price lists. Also, you could use different currency if needed, so no limitations there as well. Not only that, you're also going to be able to see the existing structure of it. And this is probably, how can I say it? It's like a quick preview of what's to come. So this is where you're going to be able to see how everything looks before we go on to, as Laura mentioned earlier, when it comes to graphic, adding the finishes, applying them to the graphics, and then afterwards testing if everything works out. Last but not least, you got the graphics. And entity is pretty cool in this sense. Why? Let's say, for example, you guys don't have 2Ds available, right? But you guys have a 3D. So you can upload a 3D and entity will auto-generate a 2D for you, right? Now, in case that you guys have a 3D and a 2D, you can update them, upload them manually. And then afterwards, for example, let's say you move to another PC, you forgot your files in the old one, and now you're asking yourself, man, how can I get those files back? Well, no worries at all. Due to Entity's database, you're going to be able to download any type of version of your 3D model. So let's say, for example, if you first uploaded a 3D or a 2D, and then you modify something to it on the website, then you're going to be able to have either the original uploaded or the modified one, whichever one you would prefer. Now, you're probably asking, okay, what formats are going to be used? So basically, if it's an OBJ or a DWG, which is AutoCAD or any type of 3D format, that's going to be okay for us to upload. Now, let's say, for example, you guys work with engineers and stuff. Then that's something we can give you guys a hand with in converting them into the correct formats. Why these two formats? They are the most easiest one to process, to upload, and it's pretty manageable and it keeps all the data light, because what we want, right, what the industry wants is for you guys to move from one place to another, having your data shared among the whole industry. That way you have nowhere you cannot reach. So anyways, let's move on to the more graphical side of it, right? Let's go over to the mapping tab. So basically the mapping tab is where you're going to be able to manage the layers. This is why it's so important to have good 3D graphics, because it's not the same thing work with a 3D of a product that everything is put together in a single layer than if it were separate. Why? Because if everything is separated, you're going to be able to have more manipulation of what finishes you want to apply specifically to where. That's also something we can give you some guiding with, and also it's something that can be done pretty easily in-house if you guys have a team for it. So yeah, basically the important part of this tab is that you're going to be able to see exactly what finishes are going to be applied, what features, right? And then once all of this is set and done, you will proceed over to the audit tab. This is the place where you're going to be able to see if the product works or don't work. Now, depending on the type of product, the structure may change. But let's say, for example, we have this specific table, right? Let's say this table is gonna offer the customer the capability of adjusting their heights. So entity will allow you, as long as you use more than a graphic, you're gonna be able to replicate a quick simulation of what's gonna be the maximum, the standard, and the minimum height of the table. Next, you want the customer to select a top for it. Then you're gonna, with the finishes already uploaded and mapped out, you're gonna be able to see the finishes in real time being applied. And let's say if you want to modify or something in particular, you could just click on these blue buttons over here and modify them manually. So no problem, no need to go back into Photoshop and readjust everything or any type of 2D image editor. Last but not least, let's apply, yeah, somebody was gonna say something.
No,
Or
sorry, I was going to say that. No, this feature I think is great because you can easily spot anything that is not correct. So if the graphic is not right, the finish it doesn't apply, you can spot it really quickly here before you publish. You distribute the information to all the different software. So before anybody else spots the issue, then you can actually check it here.
exactly. So this is one of the strong points of this, is that you're gonna be able to see exactly how it reacts. So if you feel like something is up, this is where you're gonna be able to conclude if it is or if it's just a bad hunch. So last but not least, up to this point is where you're gonna be able to say, okay, the data is already created, it has been structured, everything looks okay. Okay, what do I have to do to get this over to, I don't know, said platform? Well, we would have to go over to the releases tab. And then afterwards in the releases tab, you're gonna be able to first create the release. The name, it all depends on how you want to name it. It could be your company and then when it was created, that's more up to you. In this case, I named it demo, right? And then afterwards, once this is created, you select which catalogs you want to export, right? Maybe you want to export to a certain platform, one and not all five of them, or maybe all five of them, depending on your needs. So once you decided what catalog you want, you already have the name of it. All you would have to do is go to publish and then select, as Laura mentioned, the formats that you want to get yourself in. You got Syncly, you got CIL, and you got CET. And then obviously the kids collaborate. Now, it'll take a couple minutes for it to load. And then afterwards, you're gonna say, hey, and how do we get that data? Well, it's pretty simple. You see this link over here? This is something that you can just copy and paste it on an email, right? And send it to the person that is in charge of maintaining your data on the platforms you guys are currently on. And automatically, what will happen is if they click on it, they'll have an automatic download and it'll download as a zip folder, as you can see here. That's one way of going about it. Or if you want to download it yourself and then afterwards send it as a zip file, same thing goes. All you would have to do is click on the link and send it. So yeah, as you can see, this was a pretty brief explanation. Hope it wasn't too boresome, if I can say. And yeah, if you want to see something more in detail, you can just let us know by the end of this. And yeah, I'll be happy to answer. So yeah, somebody wants to say something, ask before we move on to our special guest of the evening.
Excellent. Well, I would like to add that this is huge in terms that, as you can see, exports into XML, which is the CET format, and also the CIF format, which is the one compatible with 2020 Kit Collaborator and CIL. So that's basically the good thing. Is the idea is just to give one source of truth without having to create the data separated for different platforms. The idea is that you keep everything centralized in entity, and then you can distribute them to all the existing and different format platforms. So yeah, I like to, well, I mean, I know that it was important to show entity and to talk about a little bit about product data, but I think what is more important is to the experience, right? What Alison and Madison think about entity, and how was their experience with this tool. And it wasn't everything perfect, we know, but at least we're getting better and better and stronger, which I think that that's good. But anyway, I'll let Alison De Martino, just if you want to go first and share a bit about your experience.
Sure, thanks, Laura. So yeah, so it's been a journey, and Robin and I became best friends at one point. It's what Laura says is absolutely it, is getting all your information together first before you start, and knowing how you want it to look before you start. And then for me, sitting down with the specialists there and saying, here's what I'm trying to do, and getting information from them about what they recommend as the best way to approach it. The more you use it, the more you get used to how things work together. It is better to be in it all the time so you don't forget things. But I found that it was extremely helpful to have the KiSP team say, you know, here's how you need to look at what you're trying to do, and show me how to program it. It's super easy to put the data in. That's it. All the information is very easy to put together. It's how it all comes together in the end so that it displays the way you want it to. That's the ongoing challenge, and probably the opportunity of programs like this.
That's great.
What else to say?
No,
I
that's
can
great.
add on to that.
Sure.
Yeah, no, like Alison said, we too talk to Robin. I always joke with him because I think I call him every day. We've been an entity like actively for probably the past 6 months, trying to get our catalog updated. And like Alison mentioned, as long as you kind of know how you want your catalog to look and how you want your models to appear, and for those models that, like Robin was showing, the one that was pneumatic, to kind of show it at those 29, 36, 42 height. Those are just kind of things to think about when you're importing data into that system, especially for us and our team at MeanWeave CET, and the models in CET are not, we're in the commercial interiors library, so they can't be modified. So however you have it built in the catalog is how it's going to come into your drawing. So for us, everything that had a pneumatic option to it, we have to build out at those different heights, so it looks correct when you're drawing it into your drawing. So there's definitely a lot of good updates we've made, and yeah, any questions that I've had, Robin and their team have been able to answer them. So they're definitely a great tool. And yeah, and along with what Alison said, there are a lot of different tabs within entities. So knowing, you know, where to start, you know, when you put in your product, and then you got to think about your option groups and the options that are tagged to those, and then mapping your materials. A lot of great, we love the platform. We were kind of working in like an Excel format before with Project Matrix, and I see Alison shaking her head. She probably can agree that was like a nightmare. So kind of seeing everything in entity and being able to look at your symbol before it goes live in a catalog is very beneficial. And then kind of this release page that we're on now, to be able to send those CIF files directly to every platform that you want to be a part of, is huge for us. So yeah, overall we've had kind of a great experience. It's just a learning curve to know how everything kind of speaks to each other. But overall, yeah, it's been great. I love it. So yeah.
I almost cried, to be honest, but
I can point one more thing, and that is that Robin and his team have a lot of expertise and bandwidth also. And so there have been a couple of times where I've gone to him and he's his team has put together the template for this is how to do the one product. Then we'll take that and then we can model it for all the other products. So it saves us a lot of upfront time trying to figure out how to make something work. And then he can hand it over and we can still, manage majority of the work. And that was really, really helpful for us.
yeah, and as they mentioned, one thing you got to keep in mind is that if we're on a project or something together, you're gonna be you can pretty much assume that one phone call of mine you're gonna have like just to make sure. And yeah, as they said, like the experience of the people who use Entity and the people who has done work with us, without us, and stuff like that on Entity and that required our help, yeah, we always try to answer as fast as possible and make sure that not only you guys have a great experience with us, but us as well, because if we're able to have a clear communication and always be on time, it's going to be way easier for you guys to have your stuff ready for each and every month that comes. And then it'll be way easier for us to be able to manage and help you guys get to that result. So yeah, that would be my final comment regarding that.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Also, let me introduce Analia Gonzalez. She's actually one of the project manager of Entity. Hi, Analia.
Hi, everyone. I'm more on the development side. So I work with the development team when we, if we fix any bugs that we may find and we add new features to the product. We're always glad to receive feedback from our users, from the Entity users, because that's what get us thinking on how to improve and how to make things easier. So whenever we get somebody new or that has been using the platform for a long time and they say, well, you know what would make my life easier, this and that, and we right away start thinking on what features we could introduce to improve the product and help you on your daily tasks. So that's
great. Yeah, I think one of the purpose or at least the intentions of Entity is to have a future-proof platform. So because now, okay, the existing platforms are CET, CIL, KiSP Collaborator, but whatever comes in the future, we're ready to adapt to it. I think that is a very flexible tool. Also, one of the things that I didn't mention, I think, is the product website configurator that can be linked directly with Entity. With Analia, we've been working with a lot of clients, and basically, it's great because they can have a website product configurator directly from Entity without doing any development. And that's huge, especially because that also will be updated with with the Entity data. So you don't have to, you can centralize everything with Entity, not only CET 2020, well, all the platforms, but also your website configurator and many other tools that are available, not only for KiSP, but also for other companies as well. Excellent. So I think we have a very quiet audience. So I don't know if there are any questions. I think one question that comes up all the time, I won't be surprised to see it here, is about the pricing, because I mean, the use of the platform is free of charge. Alison and Madison can back that up, right? You're not paying anything for Entity, right?
Nope, no pricing.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, while we're doing this, of course, we keep to have the KiSP Collaborator, our tools also updated, and we know that we have to, this tool is for that. I mean, and of course, we know that you're not going to be doing an extra data creation task for KiSP Collaborator only. That's why we integrated with the other tools, and for us, I think that's the way that works best. So yeah, there is no cost for, I mean, of course, if you want our team to create the data for you, then of course we'll charge you by the hour. It's very good pricing, but still, there is no cost to use Entity. Let's see, I think there was another question here. I think I lost it, I don't know. Sorry. I think I haven't used GoToWebinar for a long time, and I'm a bit lost with the, see if I can see it. Okay, I think somebody's raising the hand, but and yes, one of the things that of course we can the idea of this presentation was to have, you know, an idea of what is this tool tool is available. But if you have any questions or if you want a one-to-one session of Entity, we'll be happy to do it. We can schedule any times. You can send us an email or give us a call. Let's see if I can put the contact information. Let me just present here. And one of the things, I don't know if Alison or Madison, they want to add anything else onto the discussion so far.
I don't think I have anything more to add.
I would only say that if you're in there using it and you have different experiences, to speak to what Analia said, they have been very responsive about adding functionality that, you know, you're in a conversation, I wish I could do this. The program works very well. There's a lot of different ways to visualize what you're doing as you're doing it, and to sort the information and to find what you're looking for and to label the information. And I really appreciate all of their help on this. It is great from that standpoint. It does not stay one way. It's always improving.
Perfect. We have a question here from Michelle, and actually she wants to know about if she can, if we can import her existing data. Basically, they already have a catalog, and she wants to import it into Entity. And of course, yeah, we can. It takes about a couple of weeks, right, Robin, to import the data. It's not something like it's done very fast, but
Yeah,
we do the first upload. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not fast, as Laura mentioned, but yeah, I would say like a week or so maybe. That's sort of the sweet spot that you may find it taking around. But yeah, no problems at all. Like anything that has to do regarding the import of data and export of data, it's something that we don't charge. So yeah.
Well,
No
I think it's worth saying that the import process, it's done by the development team. So
exactly.
it goes into a queue, work queue. So that's why it's not done right away when it's received, because we work with sprints and we prioritize if we found bugs in productions or no, right? So we have our weekly meetings and we plan our sprints ahead. So that's why it's not done right away. Right, so it goes into the work queue because, of course, it's sensitive data. We're touching databases and stuff like that. So it cannot be done by any resource, but developers. So that's why it takes a little longer.
Exactly. And of course, the idea is once we do the upload, the idea is just so you can start managing your data in Entity. So the idea is just to do a one, import of everything, and then you can start managing, modifying and updating your data from Entity directly, and then distribute them to all the other platforms. We have another question as well about if you can export from Entity to the Kit collaborator. Yes, of course, we do that. that's basically the main purpose of entities, having Kids Collaborator updated. So you can export to Kids Collaborator, but not only Kids, you can also export to getting the CIF that is compatible with CIL, with Project Metrics, also with Syncly, and then also we get the XML files that are compatible with the CT format, which is Configura as well. Okay, yes, I think, can you show briefly, Robin, how to export from entity to the Kids Collaborator? I think it's already on the screen. I think Semen is asking about this. I don't know if you can see Robin's screen. You get,
I'm
when
still
you go to
sharing.
publish, yes.
Oh,
You are.
Good luck that you didn't see anything.
so you guys were seeing 2 times yourselves. Oh wow. I didn't even notice. I thought I stopped sharing. Okay, so yeah, basically it'll look something like this. So step number 1 would be to create a release, right? Step number 2 would be to select which catalogs you want to export, right? Step number 3 would be to click on publish and decide which format you want to export. In this case, let's go for the Kids Collaborator. Next, you would hit download, right? Then you
I'm
would
not sure if anybody else can see, but mine is froze. Like it froze. I cannot see what you're doing.
Oh, let me see how to.
Yeah, I can see the publishing. I mean, the easiest way, if you're going to publish in the Kids Collaborator, if your catalog is ready to publish, let us know and we will extract the file directly.
Yeah.
What we need
But,
to know is that the file is ready to publish in Kids, that you authorize it. But I mean, we can, once you let us know, we will take care of that. We'll extract the files directly. So, but of course, we need to know that the file is ready and that you want to publish in Kids.
So yeah, basically, is it still frozen? Because I don't know how to deactivate it. Okay, how about now? Is it working now?
There,
Yes.
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just found out that it was paused this whole time. Okay, so let's start over. Step 1, you create the release, right? Let's put in any name. Second step, you would decide which catalog you want to publish. Next, you would go over to the publish button. You click on it, select the format. In this case, we'll use the Kids Collaborator. As you can see here, you're gonna have a quick pop-up that'll allow you to know when it's getting published, right? When it's the process. As you can see here, it says that check back in a few minutes. That's normally not the case. It's just about like waiting a couple of seconds and then refreshing sometimes. If it's like for example right now, and then afterwards, since Kids is a program that is from our company, this is something that we will do internally. So all you would have to do, as Laura mentioned, would be this, and let us know as soon as it's published, or you could just let me know that, hey, we already finished with this, please publish. And all we would have to do is just copy this link and then send it over to the developers, and then they'll be able to process it and import it onto Kids. That would be the
Exactly.
whole process of it.
What I just send an email to, well, a message to Semen. If we can do a one-to-one session, I'll have a call and show you how to do that directly.
Publishing in Kids format, not only, I mean, it goes through a pipeline, and once it's the conversion is done, that information will not only be useful for the collaborator, but for every products in the Kids ecosystem. So that means the configurator or any other product. So it's not that you have to do or republish or make changes if you, let's say you get our configurator. No, it's the exact same conversion that can be used in any of our products.
Perfect. Okay, then. So yeah, I think we ran out of time, but I would like to thank you so much, Alison and Madison, for being part of the webinar. It's very important for us that you can actually testify about your experience and telling, you know, how it's been your journey with KiSP. Also, Analia and Robin, thank you very much for working and making this tool so amazing. I'm not involved with the with the designer and Robin's part, that I know they're doing a great job and helping a lot of my manufacturer.